Welcome, everybody. It is Jonathan Troen here for another episode of Shared Humanity, a part of the Self-Love Revolution program. So excited. Today, we have Tara Chatzakis here, and I'm excited for a variety of reasons. One is Tara's from the Isle of Wight, and honestly, I've never ever spoken to anybody from the Isle of Wight before. So that is really cool. And Tara and I met, I don't know, a few weeks ago maybe. And so she's a life happiness coach, a law of attraction coach. But here's what's interesting. So Tara works with people's energies and their energetic relationships with themselves, with others, personal, business, all of it. And I find working with energy really cool. So I'm really excited to jump into this. Tara, welcome.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm so excited to be here too. It's amazing that I'm talking to you and we only met like a few weeks ago. But yes, there's not many of us on the Isle of Wight, so that's probably why you've never met anybody from here before. So
I know. I want to learn more about the Isle of Wight. But first, I want to learn more about you. And yeah, we haven't known each other for that long, but the universe, that's how the universe works. That's how the energy works. And it's interesting. So some people I meet and, I might interview them or they interview me years later, really. And then some people it's like, let's get on. So here we are. So I want to learn more about when you talk about relationships, I want to understand more. You talk about their energetic relationships. So what's that all about?
So basically, everything is created from energy. There is nothing that we can see or even anything that we don't see that isn't energetic. So for example, things that appear solid are they have energy inside them. They have atoms that are moving around, so they have an energetic vibration, and some of the vibrations are lower and slower, so things appear more solid, and things that are higher and faster are a little bit more fluid and there's a bit more movement in them. So the energetic level that you have in your body, for example, if you're feeling very unhappy or sad or things aren't going very well, you get quite a low energetic level in your body, in your cells, for example. And the happier that you are, the more the faster your body vibrates energetically, and you attract more of those things into your life. So things that match each other, if it's a high, fast, energetic vibration that's full of happiness and joy and love and excitement, then you get more of those things into your life. So it's a relationship that you build with different energies.
And so when you're working with someone, how do you work on an energetic level versus a thought level versus a do level, an action level, or is it all the same?
It's not all the same, but we do incorporate all of those elements. So for example, if you're in business and you have to be energetically aligned with your business, but your business also has to be energetically aligned with you. So for example, if it's a business that you're really passionate about, then you're going to have a better energy relationship with that business. If you're just doing something for the money, then the energetic relationship is much lower, and it's much harder to succeed in that environment because you're only after the money, and then you have a bad energetic relationship with money because you're resenting the fact that you're doing this to create the money. So it's got to be a good balance of all of those things, and there are certain things that you have to do to increase the energy.
Yeah, because I find even when people will get the money, if they get it from that forced need for doing it for the wrong reasons, like getting money just to get money, because what's money anyway? Money, you can use money to do beautiful things, but many people get the money and then they're still kind of a mess once they get there.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're attracting money into your life, but it's not in alignment with your true inner happiness, for example, like say doing something that you don't particularly feel very passionate about, but you're doing it just because it's going to give you a good salary, then you're not going to have a good relationship with that money. And for example, if you have a relative and you don't really love that relative, you don't really like them, they're not going to come and see you very often. They're not going to stay around if they do come and visit you. And money is exactly the same as energy. So if you don't have a good relationship with it, it's not hanging around very long. So people that do that tend to lose it a lot quicker, or they spend it a lot quicker, or they make their fortune and then they lose it all again. It's an energetic balance that they haven't quite figured out.
So you mentioned vibrations before, and I know engineers can measure the vibrations of buildings and all kinds of things. They have all these
Yeah.
instruments. Can we actually measure our vibrations? Like human, how do we know, how do I know what vibration I'm at right now in this moment? Can we, or is it just a sense?
You can, because it's how you feel. So if you think of your energetic vibration and your emotions, so your emotions are energetic emotion. So if you think about your emotions a bit like a GPS, and if you're on the right track, or you're doing the right thing as something that's in alignment with you and your true calling, for example, then you get excited about it and you feel your energy feels higher, and you feel more energetic as well in your body, but you have more passion and more drive. If you're feeling quite low, then it's the universe telling you, just maybe you should reassess what you're doing, because that's probably not the good thing for you, because it's a feeling that you get. Like if you go into a room, for example, and somebody's just had a big argument in there, you can feel it's cold, it's unpleasant, you can feel the shivers in your body, and that's their energy that you can feel, the people that have been in there before you that have had that argument, for example. But if you go into a room and everyone's happy, it makes you feel happy and your whole body feels alive.
Yeah, and I recommend everybody begin to do this, or at least practice it sometimes. Walk into a room and pause before you go through the doorway or the archway or whatever's there, and just pause and notice the energy, and then walk through the door and notice the energy. Every single room you go to has a different energy, but we just run around from room to room, the bedroom to the bathroom to the kitchen to there. Well, hopefully not from the bathroom to the kitchen. Hopefully there's a hallway. But however your house is laid out, totally fine. But it's fascinating. I learned that from a meditation teacher years ago, and it became part of a meditation practice.
Yeah.
To pause and then walk in and experience the room before you engage with all the engaging you're going to do in that room. It's good practice.
Yeah, the room can have a different energy depending on who was in it before you.
Yeah.
That they leave a residual energy in that room when they've left. So you just have to hope that you don't go into a room full of negative energy. But you can actually, I was talking about this the other day on Instagram, you can actually clear that energy when you go in. For example, let's say you were going into a meeting with clients and you went into the room and you could feel the energy wasn't quite where you needed it to be. Because if you've got a lower energy in a meeting, for example, then you're not going to get such a great outcome. So if you go into the room, you can raise the energetic level in the room from yourself by raising your own, by incorporating some laughter, because laughter just creates an amazing energy.
So walk me through that. I don't mean to interrupt, but walk me through that. So here I am, and I'm walking into a room, and I'm noticing, okay, this isn't the greatest energy here. What do I need to do right now to make this whole thing better?
First of all, for example, if I'm doing a meditation, I would clean the room first with my energy. So you can do that without actually verbally saying anything to anybody about what you're doing. But you can send love from your heart chakra. So you're sending love and good wishes to all the people in the room. You're physically re-energizing your body. So you're getting your body into a physiological state of high energy. And you can do that by tightening your muscles and getting excited in the core. So you can do this when
you just like grip, you just like squeeze your body together.
You can squeeze tightly and then release, but just feel the core, and so it's sort of just above your belly button where when you get butterflies, if you get excited. If you can squeeze that area and feel excited about what's coming, about the outcome of the meeting, for example, that raises your energetic level and that goes out into the room. Then you can perhaps say something funny or make a joke or get a smile going, at least, just to raise the energy of the people that are in the room.
Yeah.
Just polite conversation, just to create a nice balance and then raise their energy from there.
And I want to talk about the smile you mentioned for a second, because sometimes there's not a joke to be told, but you can always smile yourself. If you smile, it's
Exactly, yeah.
smiling is like a virus. You smile and someone else smiles. It
Yeah,
and it's not, here's the thing, it's not guaranteed to catch. Just like, we're still, I don't know when you're watching this, people, but we're in COVID time right now. And you can be in a room with someone with COVID and you might get it, but you might not. Right. So
yeah,
smiling is like that. It's not guaranteed to go to the other person, but there's a high likelihood that just a soft smile can shift someone else's
yeah.
experience in the world.
But people are also very polite. So if you smile at somebody, they will automatically smile back, whether it's a sincere smile or not. However, just making that smile makes them feel better because their body's thinking, I'm smiling. I must like something here. I'm in a good mood. So your body's thinking that, whether you're thinking it or not. So it does increase your energy level, just smiling.
Yeah. So how did you get into all this? What's your backstory? I know most people do backstory and then do this, but I like to get into meat first and then learn about how we got here. So what brought you to this?
Okay. Mine's a bit of an unusual story. It started back in 2009, and I was in an unhealthy, unhappy marriage. And I was one of those people that I got married and I thought that was it for life. I had to stay where I was, a bit like, you made your bed, so you have to lie in it. Now you have to stay there. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said to me, if you're so unhappy, what are you going to do about it? And I was sort of, well, perhaps I can do something about it. I hadn't really thought about it. So anyway, when I came off the call, it was like I'd been holding all these emotions in, and I just suddenly let them all out, and I was absolutely distraught. I was crying my eyes out. I was sobbing. I was in the house on my own. And then I had this massive hug from the universe. I felt that these warm, strong arms around all of my body, and I felt the most safe and secure and supported I had ever felt in my life. It was absolutely amazing, and it held me there for a couple of minutes. And I didn't actually realize what happened. It was just a bit bizarre that it was just on my own, but I could feel this being held. So from there, I started researching things, found other people had had these kind of experiences. And then I started learning more about the energy in the universe and law of attraction and mindfulness, and all sorts of different things started spiraling out of that, quantum physics and neurokinetic science and all sorts of like rabbit holes that I could go down. So that's how I started to get interested in it. I did a life coaching course as well, because the more I spoke to people, the more people asked me for ways to feel better about themselves, asked me for help with meditation and different things. So I gradually became certified, and that's how I started on my journey. A big hug.
What exactly does a hug from the universe feel like?
It just feels like you're being hugged by a person. So it was like really tight around my whole, like basically around, so somebody put their arms around me. That's just how it felt, but there was literally nobody there. But I could feel the energy, and it wasn't just a feeling of pressure, because the feeling was, it felt warm, it felt safe, I felt secure, I felt supported. I knew that whatever I chose to do, I was going to be supported 100%, and I could do this. I didn't need any help to get out of my marriage. I knew that I would, whatever happened, I wouldn't fail. And that was just amazing, because I felt as though I was carrying it all alone, but actually I wasn't.
Yeah, the universe has your back, folks.
Definitely. Yeah.
So
100%.
have you been hugged by the universe since? Like, is it something you can call upon and be hugged, or like, does it just
I have,
happen? Or
yes, I actually was this year as well, which is quite bizarre. It's not something I can call, because I've tried it. you know, when you're just like, because of how amazing that feeling was. Many times after that, I've been like, I could really do with that hug again because it just felt so good, but nothing. Absolutely, was like, oh, come on, really?
But then you got it
Gonna
again.
laugh now,
So
yeah.
what happened this
But
time?
earlier this year,
What happened?
this time, so I've been doing my coaching, but I've been doing it part-time alongside a job.
Mhm.
And I really didn't want to be in the job anymore. I really wanted to be doing my coaching 100%, because it was the whole, you know, if you're getting money from one energy and it's not the right energy, then it doesn't feel good. It just, so I wanted to quit the job and just do my coaching full time. So I decided I was going to do that, and then I was very scared because, you know, what if it didn't happen very well, or what if it didn't take off? And I was just in my bedroom and I was like, okay, I'm not going to quit because I'm not going to take the risk. And then I got the hug again.
Mm.
It's all right, Tara, don't worry, you're going to be supported. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll do it then. And then it was just, again, it's the whole feeling of you're not alone. Once you make that decision, that step to do something that you're absolutely petrified of doing, that's when the universe starts to work with you. And, you know, for every step you take, the universe takes 5 steps, because it's supporting you and bringing things into alignment, into your energetic vibration. And it's just the most amazing feeling of being just completely loved by energy.
It reminds me of Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist, where he talks about
Yeah.
when you take an action, then the universe conspires. I love that word he uses, conspires.
Yes,
The universe conspires uh, to help you.
it does. Yeah. And until you've taken that action, nothing's going to happen.
I
You have
know.
to, you have to commit
We
to
all
it.
wait for something to happen and then we'll take action.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
No.
when this happens, I'll do that. No, you have to do that first, and then it's going to happen. It's like people say, when I make £1,000,000, I'll be happy then. No, that's rubbish. You have to be happy now, otherwise you're not going to get the £1,000,000. Do you know,
Yes.
they have it backwards. Nothing's going to bring them happiness. They have to have the happiness first to get whatever they're looking for.
There's no path. It's like Thich Nhat Hanh says, there's no path to peace. There's no path to happiness. Peace is the
No,
path.
yeah,
Happiness is the path. Um, but so let me ask you this, because I people ask me about this a lot. And so you mentioned law of attraction, and you
yeah,
mentioned the mindfulness practice. And law of attraction, and the way it's often taught, although I experience it differently, I teach it differently, but says, you know, change your thoughts, just be happy, change your thoughts, be happy now. And of course, mindfulness practice says, whatever you're experiencing right now in this moment, that's what you are to experience. If you're angry, there's anger inside of me. If there's sadness inside of me. And all of them are to be loved, all of them are to be noticed. So where do you fall on this dichotomy of mindfulness, what is right now, versus we have to change the way we think in order to attract what we want?
I do believe that thoughts become things. I do, because I think they're an energy as well. So they're creating their own energetic vibration in the universe. However, if you're thinking that if you are angry right now, life is happening for the good of you, not to you. It's to benefit for you. So if you're feeling angry, that's great. Feel that, but also be grateful for that anger. Be grateful for the reason that you for the situation that's made you angry, because that situation could be the one that makes you pivot and take the next step. You know, if you're just going along and you're not angry about anything or happy about anything, you're just going to keep plodding along, and everything's going to be just the same. If you haven't got intense emotions, you've no reason to make anything different in your life. So yeah, if you're angry, that's great, experience it, but also be thankful for the fact that you are angry, and be thankful for what's making you angry, because it's making you change things.
Yeah, that is so important. Be thankful. So feel the bad emotion. They're not. I still say it sometimes, but there are no bad emotions in my world. Um,
No,
but the difficult emotions, feel them. And yes, be thankful for your experience, to feel them,
Yes.
for the energy that they give you, and then for the results that might come from it. Yeah, that's
If you
beautiful.
didn't, if you
Thank
didn't have the
thank you,
challenges, then you would.
thank those emotions, thank your anger and sadness, just say thank you for being here.
Well, exactly. If I hadn't have been in an unhappy marriage, if I hadn't have had that challenge, I wouldn't have been where I am today, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And I'm just so grateful for going through that,
Yeah.
because there was a good reason for me to do it. It wasn't I wasn't the victim, which I thought I was at the time. I thought I was a victim and everything. I was helpless. I couldn't get out. I couldn't do anything. But I wasn't. I was going through that for a good reason, because it opened my eyes to so many more other things
Yeah.
that I wouldn't have experienced otherwise. And I wouldn't have met you, Jonathan, would I?
That's right. I mean, we have to begin to understand that. And when we're going through something, we have to be with it, because there's something on the other side. And all of us, if we look back on our lives, we know that's the case. We look back and, oh, we didn't want that to happen. It did, but then it created that. All
Yes.
of us can look back on our lives that way. So, if you are feeling difficulty in this moment, you don't have to race to the other side, but just in the back of your head, you can know it's there. And like Tara's
It's
saying, that,
always temporary, isn't it?
yeah, and be grateful that it's here now, so that you
Yeah.
can get to wherever you're going. It's the
That's the
little way.
exciting bit, isn't it? What is this why am I facing this challenge? What is it leading to?
Yeah.
And that's just like, oh my God, I have no idea, but I can't wait.
So who are some of the people that have influenced in your life? What's one or two people that you would say really influenced you?
um I first started looking at Mike Dooley. So he does the tut.com,
Yep.
which is Thoughts Become Things. His books were the first ones I ever read. They were quite easy for me to understand. Dr. Joe Dispenza, who he was in The Secret as well, but he looks at the neuroscience quite in depth, which is great. My first ever coach, who was Susan, she really helped me to look at the reasons that I was going through things and the benefit of them. And she was very wise. She made me think a lot about what was happening in my life. So I'm really grateful to her. On a personal level, my children, because they support me absolutely 100%. When I said I was going to quit my job, they were like, yes, do it, go.
Oh,
I was like, oh my God. So they're really supportive of me. Who else?
it's funny you said your first coach, because as you said that, what came to me was, people say you always remember your first love, your first girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever that is. And it occurred to me, I think you always remember your first coach. You don't have to have the same coach the rest of your life. Everyone needs a coach. Everyone. And
Yeah.
and all the top execs know, because all the top people have coaches.
Yes, they
But
do.
it's
Yes.
interesting. I think you do, because I remember. I mean, I'm not with my first coach anymore. But man, I remember going through that
Yeah.
journey of wowness, and I will be honest, ickiness at what as well at times. It's like, what? You gotta feel this too. No, I thought I was just supposed to smile all the time, and then everything would be great. And no, I
And you
gotta
have to
feel
take
this.
responsibility for things as well. And you're like, no, I don't want to be, I don't want to be the
Yeah.
one that blames myself.
So you always remember your first coach. So interesting. Well, I want you to tell. I'm gonna, after this, I'm gonna reach out to my first coach and let him know about this discussion. I want you to tell Susan, your first coach. I want you to reach out to
Yes,
her
I
and
will
say
do.
you were on the list there. And everyone,
Yeah.
whoever that person is that influenced you, just reach out to them. And it could be 20 years. I just reached out to my English teacher. From 30 years ago, whatever. And it came up in another discussion I was in about, someone that had an influence on you. And so I had his email address through someone else.
Mhm.
And so I emailed him. I said, here's what came up, and thanks what you did for me
Oh,
30
that's really
something
cool.
years ago. And he's in a different world now, but so grateful. Because aren't you grateful when someone reaches out to you out of the blue and says, wow, you had a great impact?
Yes. Yeah, most definitely. I actually did that the other day to some people. I just wrote a list of people that I was really thankful for and just sent them messages on
Yeah.
Facebook and said, thank you, you impacted me like this, which is quite unusual because it's not something you do every day, is it? But I did it literally 2 days ago. That's crazy.
That's a beautiful thing. Anyway, I think we got off track from the interview, but I tend to do that sometimes. So I like to ask people this: if you could interview yourself, what's a question that I have not asked you that you want to be? You wish, Jonathan, why didn't you ask me this question? What's the question that I haven't asked you that you want to answer?
Oh my God, put me on the spot. What's my superpower?
What's your superpower?
What superpower would I like to have?
Oh, well, those are two questions. What superpower do you have, and what superpower would you like to have?
They are two questions, you're right. So the superpower that I would like to have is teleportation.
Hmm.
I would like to be able to go around the world at the drop of a hat and, for example, be in your living room right now. Because I know things are all online now, and that's just the way that it's progressed this year. But I don't want to get away from the face-to-face side of things. I think it's really important to be in a room with somebody, physically in a room with somebody. And I'm just worried that people are going to be like, oh, I don't need to go to that meeting. I can do it from home. Because I think it's really important to share a space with somebody physically.
Yeah.
Energetically as well, because you do connect differently. I mean, you can connect energetically through a screen, but when you're in a room, it's much more powerful. So I would like to be able to just fly around the world quickly and meet people. That would be really great.
And so now what is your current superpower that you do have?
My current superpower is feeling people's energies and knowing when they need something. So, you know, when you can sense that somebody has something they're not telling you, but you can feel that they have a pain inside. I think that's my superpower.
That's beautiful.
What would your superpower be, Jonathan? What would you like as a superpower?
You know, someone asked me this morning. So my
Really?
superpower today is kindness. Is my superpower.
Okay.
The superpower that I would want to have.
It's a very difficult question.
To give people the courage to create the change that they want. I can help people that want to change, but there's so many that want to change, but there's that afraid part of them. You know, even like you were talking about, you weren't going to quit your job until the universe hugged you. Well, there's some people that didn't get that hug from the universe for whatever reason. And so it's scary to take some of those steps. And of course, people have different backgrounds and upbringings which affect all that. And sometimes I think in our world, in this, you know, spiritual, personal development world, we tend to blame people if they're not thinking the right way. Just change your thoughts and then be happy, and then you can have the life. But if someone wasn't taught that and they were brought up in different situations, we can't blame them for what they haven't been taught. We can't blame them for that lack of understanding and knowledge. So the superpower I would want is to implant that knowledge and that courage to take action for the change they want for everybody, and to have everyone just love themselves.
Yeah, that would be really good. Yeah, to appreciate themselves for their beauty.
Self-love into every human being.
Yes,
that's the
totally.
superpower I want. I can do it for people that come to me, but my because superpowers are hidden, right? They hide in the shadows and just come out, and no one knows who they are. So I want to be able to implant it into everybody.
That sounds like an amazing power. Yeah, yeah.
And if we combine ours together, We could
Yes.
teleport around the world, implanting self-love into everybody.
Can you imagine a world where people just loved themselves and they weren't afraid, or yeah, they didn't need to lose weight, have plastic surgery, change this about themselves, change that, and they just loved themselves?
Yeah. Love
That
yourself
would be,
how you are. You are
that would
perfect.
be
You're
amazing.
perfect. You're a perfect human being, just as you are right now in the world.
There'd be a lot of broke conglomerates though if we
No, they just get rich another way. There's enough.
yeah, they could.
There's enough money to go around for everybody. You just
Yeah,
get
of
rich
course there
another
is.
way. You get rich off love, not off fear. And it's just a different way to show up and live in the world. There would not be a lot of broken conglomerates. They'd just be run differently.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Because fear does just make more fear, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
one way to get rich, and people do. You know,
Yeah, they do.
there are other ways. You can do this way. So Tara, so how can people connect with you?
I'm on Facebook, Tara Chatzakis Coaching, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, Tara Chatzakis. I'm very easy to find. And my website is
We'll put some links.
tarachatzakis.com.
We'll put some links there. I'll spell the last name for you. Well, it's Tara, Tara, and then there'll be some links there. But in case you're on somewhere and I don't know, these videos go everywhere, so they can be embedded. CHAT. I'm reading. CHATZAKIS.
Yes.
So Tara Chatzakis, search her on whatever platform you're on, or tarachatzakis.com. Tara, thank you so much. I am excited to be somewhat Zoom teleported into the Isle of Wight in this moment. I hope to maybe step foot there one day. I hear it's amazing.
It is beautiful here. I absolutely love it. I'm in a place called Cows, and it's just amazing.
That is
It's a really good energy as well, so it's nice, calm.
Well, thank you so much for sharing yourself, your humanity, your journey, your universe hugs. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for inviting me, Jonathan. I so appreciate it.
Everybody watching, subscribe, like, share, all of that, so that we can continue to bring these beautiful stories, this experience of self-love to the world. Remember, you are loved. We love you. We'll see you later.